All right, question coming in. Let's see here. We'll go to the line here, and it says, I accepted forbearance when COVID started. I just recently received a letter from my mortgage company, and it looks like they're demanding all the money. I don't know what to do. Can Mark help me? Okay, well, let's try to explain. What does this mean?
Wow. So that's really heavy, and it's not the first call that we've received like this. So if you remember back, if you want to remember, I don't really want to remember March 2020, April 2020, but when COVID first started, you know, there was a huge amount of panic, and one of the opportunities to help mitigate the panic was that mortgage companies were saying, hey, we get it, we're with you. If you can't make a payment this month, don't. Just hold off, and we'll catch up later, right? And we actually did a video on our YouTube channel way back when this first happened, saying, listen, people, you need to understand there's a difference between forbearance and forgiveness. They're not waiving the amount of money that you owe. They're kicking the can down the street.
Yeah.
They're suggesting that right now might not be a great time, cash flow wise, to be making your mortgage payment. Hold off and wait until there's a better day. Well, that has ended for a lot of people. So what is happening right now, because you see in the news, there's the foreclosure moratoriums, and they're expiring. And what that means now is those that have been working through with forbearance and not making those payments are now deemed technically in default. So some of the service providers they're working with people, right? A lot of them are doing very good and saying, okay, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to take the amount of money that you haven't paid or you have delayed in paying, and we're going to move that to the back end of your loan, and we're just going to put it there until you go and sell or refinance, right? Fannie and Freddie, the major government-backed mortgage service providers, are required to do that. So if you have a loan like that, that's one of the requirements. And if they're not presenting that to you, then there are avenues of ways that you can push back on that. And I know some of these mortgage service companies are challenging to work with. They're basically putting folks into a collection department, right? And they're treating them as debtors, and they're not being super helpful. Some are not. And those that are not, there's an avenue, and it's called the CFPB. It's a regulatory body here in the United States. If you go on the website, consumerfinance.gov, right there on the face of the website is a video about exiting your forbearance. So a lot of folks that, similar to your caller, may be experiencing is a letter that says, here are your options. You either pay all of the money that you haven't paid over the last 18 months, which you can imagine, Rob, is a significant amount of money regardless of the size of your mortgage. And you need to make that payment next month, or you can take that amount and we can divide it into maybe 12 payments, adding that to your existing payment. Again, significantly high amount of a mortgage payment that someone isn't normally accustomed to making and hasn't made a payment, don't forget, in a very long time. Or they can sell their property. So some of the service providers are only giving them those three options. And I encourage everybody to go on consumerfinance.gov. I encourage people to listen to their neighbors. This may not apply to you, but it may be applying to your neighbor, and your neighbor may be staying very quiet about it because they're ashamed and it's humiliating and they're ignoring it. And what we have learned from history, especially in the past markets, is that denial is not a way through this. You know, when that envelope comes and you throw it in the corner of the counter and hope that it goes away, it isn't going to go away. So these folks need to speak with professionals. Myself, I'm open through our Calendly account to talk to anyone and strategize through this, calendly.com/mstyles, anytime, anywhere. Book a time and I'll call you. But get with the mortgage professionals. Maybe they can refinance the loan, and if not, they're real estate professionals, and we can introduce them to professionals in their area if they don't have anybody. Again, calendly.com/mstyles, because there are ways through this, but by hoping that it will go away is not. And what we've learned already is that these banks are moving very rapidly, not like in the past where documents couldn't be found, signatures couldn't be made. There's artificial intelligence and machine learning that is happening, that these lenders and service providers are laser focused with their timing and their notices, and it's a scary time for somebody who is in distress, and I encourage them to reach out to somebody. And if this is somebody who's listening, I'm available to talk about this. But if it's somebody who thinks their neighbor is in this position, have a conversation, help them out.
All right, Mark Stiles, attorney Mark Stiles, Route 139, Stiles Law. And you can find out more at stiles-law.com. And his office, as we mentioned, is in Marshfield on Route 139. So get in touch with him. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Feel Good Friday, every Friday at this time on WATD.